Hi, Jason Beatty here for Indigo Prep vlog episode number 3. We're getting real specific in this episode and talking about a very specific solving style for system of equation questions on algebra. When you see a set of equations like this, and this is somewhat typical, there are two approaches you can use to define variables in math. If you're taking a math-specific approach, you have these two equations, you're trying to define these two variables. There are two things that you can do to define them. Let's say here, by the way, the question is, what is x? First things first, you can do something called the substitution method. That is isolating a variable, substituting everything else into the equation, and solving. So, for instance, on this, we would say x plus y equals 7. We're trying to define x, so we want to isolate the other variable. We get y equals 7 minus x. The other equation is 2x minus y equals 5. We substitute in for y. 2x minus 7 minus x equals 5. We get 3x minus 7 equals 5. We get 3x equals 12, or x equals 4. That's the substitution method. The second method, if you're doing this on a math-only basis, is the elimination method. So you can line up x plus y equals 7, 2x minus y equals 5, and then you can either add or subtract these equations from one another. Here you'd choose to add them, so you get 12 and 3x equals 12. These two cancel out, so x equals 4. So these are the two methods. Students often ask me, well, which one should I use? Well, it turns out that you want to be able to use both. You want to use the elimination method if you can very quickly get rid of a variable, as in this case. If your choice is between substitution and elimination, in this particular case, elimination turns out to be a lot faster. Now, the GMAT has a really good idea of what its test-taking population looks like. And as it turns out, the GMAT knows that the percent of test takers who feel good about the substitution method, because it's the thing that you do on a math test, is about 80% of the test-taking population. Whereas only about 20% of the test-taking population is proficient at elimination. It turns out that on system of equation questions, if your only two choices are using substitution and using elimination, elimination is right at least half the time. So, your best way to succeed on the GMAT is to know both methods, substitution and elimination, evaluate the set of equations, and then use the one that's best. So the first takeaway on an equation like this is generally you want to have a bias toward the elimination method. It's the one people reach for less, fewer test takers know it, so as the GMAT is creating a right and fast solution, there's a tendency for that to be associated with the elimination method. Definitely use the elimination method in a situation like this where you can very quickly get rid of a variable. That's a huge indicator that the elimination method is faster. But these aren't your only two choices when faced with a system of equation questions. In fact, it is almost always faster to use some sort of alternative strategy. Estimation, number properties of the answer choice, back solving. Substitution and elimination are algebra-based solutions which are inherently second best. Here are 5 questions in the current official guide that can be solved faster using some sort of alternative method. So it shouldn't be that your choice is, should I substitute or should I eliminate? It should be that you want to understand, plan, and solve so you can define away the need to do either elimination or substitution, and you can do just a little estimating, or just a little number properties of the answer choices, or just a little back solving to get questions right faster. So you limit yourself by thinking just substitution and elimination, the best way is all of the alternative methods in situations like this. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that the second takeaway really hit home. If you want to reach out and talk about this further, here are 4 ways to contact me. Thank you very much, and best of luck on the GMAT.